Hello, good people. It's me, Mushfiq Arafat, today's English teacher, and I'm going to take today's class on transformation, and I'm covering the part of transforming sentences from assertive to interrogative and vice versa. So, without further ado, let's do it.
Now the question is, what is introductory there? The sentence starts with there is called introductory there. While transforming assertive sentences which starts with there, you need to understand first whether there is a person or an object. It means whether they are represent as a person or as an object. If there is a person or they are represent as a person, you need to replace it with who. I repeat again, if there represents as a person, it will be replaced with who. And if there is an object, you need to replace it with what. I repeat, if there represents as an object, it will be replaced with what. So I am going to give you several examples so that it will be easier for you. For example, what will be the WH question of the following statement? There is no use of this rule. As you can see, there is an introductory there, and we know that introductory there follows the noun after the verb, and depending on which noun the verb is made, its form. If the noun is plural, the verb will be plural. If the noun is singular, the verb will be singular. And as no use a singular noun, that's why the verb here is. And you can understand that no use here represent as an object. That's why they are also represent here as an object. The first thing that you need to do, as we have already told you, that if there represents as an object, you must replace it with what. And another thing that you need to remember, that you need to omit the negative word completely. In this case, no is the negative word which must be omitted. So there will be replaced with what, and the answer will be what is the use of this rule, and question mark. And now the question arises, why there is the which is not available in the statement? The rule is, the explanation is, when two noun when two nouns are connected with a preposition, there is a 95% probability to have a the in front of the first noun. That's why we put a the in front of use. As you can see, use is a noun, and this rule is also a noun which is connected with a preposition of. That's why we put a the in front of use. That's how we can make a WH question of an introductory there statement. Let's see what will be the WH question of a statement or of an assertive sentence starts with there representing as a person. For example, if I say there is nobody happier than Sam, here you can see that there represents nobody, which is definitely represents as a person, and depending on which the verb is formed. And here definitely nobody is representing as a person, that's why there is also representing as a person. So according to the rule, the thing that we will do, that there must be replaced with who. And another thing that is needed to be remembered, that nobody will be omitted completely, as it is a negative word. So what will be the answer of this statement? There will be replaced with who? So who is happier than Sam? Question mark. Let's see. Happier here is an adjective. Then is a preposition, and Sam is a noun. And we can see that here adjective and noun is connected by a preposition. That's why there is no necessary or no need to put a the in front of happier. Moreover, it is an adjective. That's why we don't put a the in front of it. Now, introductory, their sentences can also be transformed into yes no question as well. So let's see. Uh, when the sentence starts with there, while transforming it into interrogative one, the things you need to do are, first, you just bring the auxiliary verb in front of the subject there. And another thing, just please change the negative words according to the rules. That's all. For example, if I say that there is no use of this rule, for example, here we can see that there is an auxiliary verb which is also the main verb of this sentence. We must bring before the subject and change the negative word no, as we have already known that no will be transformed into any while making it interrogative sentence. That's why the yes no question of this statement will be, is there any use of this rule? Question mark. Let's learn another rule in the segment. So what if there is the phrase nothing but in an assertive sentence? Transforming this assertive sentence containing nothing but into an interrogative one, the things you need to do are, at the first, omit nothing from this sentence and starts the interrogative sentence with what? And the definite thing that you need to do, that you need to bring the auxiliary verb in front of the subject. So what you need to do, the first you have to put what, uh, and you must replace the auxiliary verb in front of the subject. You must bring the auxiliary verb in front of the subject, and the rest will remain the same. I repeat, the rest will remain the same. For example, if I say anger is nothing but a vice, here you can see the phrase nothing but is present, and the first thing that you need to do, omitting the nothing and starting the sentence with what, and here the main verb, at the same time you can use it as a helping verb or an auxiliary verb which will be brought in front of the subject, and the answer will be, what is anger but a vice? Now, if the sentence, if an assertive sentence starts with it does not matter, making it an WH question, the first thing that you need to do, that you must replace it does not matter with what though, and the rest of the part of the sentence will remain the same. And if you want to make it a yes no question, you must bring the auxiliary verb in front of the subject and the rest will remain the same. So if I give you an example, it does not matter if you fail to understand it. So please carefully observe it. In this case, it does not matter is a negative one. Here, does is the auxiliary verb and it is the subject. So you need to bring the does in front of the subject it if you want to make it yes no question, and if you want to make it WH question, you must replace it does not matter with what do though. So the answer will be what though if you fail to understand it. And the yes no question of this statement will be does it matter if you fail to understand it? Question mark. Now we will learn how to transform a complex sentence into an interrogative sentence. We know that complex sentence contains two clauses. One is main clause or principal clause or independent clause, and another one is dependent clause or helping clause or subordinate clause. We must remember that whatever the dependent clause or helping clause or subordinate clause is, we always make interrogative of the principal clause. If I give you an example of a complex sentence, it will be clearer to you. For example, if I say the famous quote, if winter comes, spring cannot be far behind. Here you can easily see that there are two clauses. One is if winter comes and another one is spring cannot be far behind. Here, if winter comes contains a linker and it is if. We know that if a clause contains linker, it will be the subordinate clause. So the first one is a subordinate clause or helping clause or a dependent clause, and spring cannot be far beyond. There is no linker, so it must be the principal clause or the main clause or independent clause. So we must make interrogative sentence of this clause. So what will be the answer of this complex sentence? Can spring be far behind if winter comes? Question mark. You must remember that wherever the independent clause is, whether it is in the beginning or at the end, we must make interrogative sentence from the beginning. So that's why here the spring cannot be far behind clause is at the end, but we start doing the interrogative sentence from the very beginning. That's all for today. Thank you so much for your patience, and we will definitely learn a lot of things in the next classes. Till then, bye bye.